Hello, everybody. How has this course changed my perception of students with low incidence disabilities? So, this course has changed my perception of students with low incidence disabilities because it helped me realize, even though I already knew, it helped me realize how capable they truly are. They are capable of what they believe in. When teachers believe in their students, they will meet and exceed those expectations. But if we don't believe in our students, they will never reach their full potential. I also learned the importance of the least restrictive environment. Students need to be with peers who are not disabled to learn social skills, both on the gen ed students' parts and the students with disabilities parts, because a lot of times I notice that general education students don't really know how to talk to students with low incidence disabilities, so they need to learn those social skills on both ends. And I learned how important it is for students with low incidence disabilities to have access to the general education curriculum. So a strategy or approach I learned that I plan to incorporate and already have into my teaching practice is multi-sensory instruction. I really love the idea of that, and I think it's very beneficial. So in my classroom, while student teaching, I came up with a unit of figurative language, and one of the end games that we played was musical chairs. So I would play music that's auditory. They would be walking around the chairs. They saw the different types of figurative language on the chairs in colorful letters, like it was very pretty. And they would walk around and listen to my example, and they'd have to sit on the chair that is my example. I have 2 students with ID, and one of them sat on the right chair. I asked, "Why do you think it's that one?" And he explained it to me perfectly, and everybody clapped for him, which I was so proud. And then the other student with ID, he didn't sit in any of the right chairs, but when we did our exit ticket, I didn't even have to read it to him, and he got 4 out of 5 right. So that's why I believe multisensory instruction truly works. And that's why I'm going to use it even more often. So describe a specific example of how I might modify a lesson or activity to make it more accessible for a student with low incidence disabilities. So, for an example, if I had a student who was blind or visually impaired, I would modify my lesson for them. If I was giving a writing lesson to write a paragraph for a student who's blind, I would provide a graphic organizer in Braille for them, or in like a screen reader format, so their screen reader could explain what they need to fill out and do. And then I'd also give them verbal directions of what to do and audio examples of a completed paragraph. Obviously I would allow them to use assistive technologies that they need for writing. Instead of like actively handwriting it, they could just type it on the Braille note taker or the screen reader for examples. And I would also break up the paragraph into small tasks and do a sentence at a time, but making sure they have that finished example for them before they even start. And I would obviously check for understanding to make sure they know what they're doing, through verbal responses and discussion, since they are visually impaired. And I would probably do a peer tutoring thing where they can give their paragraph to another student, and that student can give them feedback on their paragraph. They could also use speech to text as well, if that works best for them. So I'm keeping the goal of writing a paragraph, but making it more adapted towards a student who is blind or visually impaired. What challenges do I anticipate facing when working with students with low incidence disabilities, and how I plan to address them? So, some challenges I anticipate when working with students with low incidence disabilities is frustration, and I plan to address that by making sure to stay calm, relaxed, and patient. I think meeting specific needs that are diverse and intense will be a challenge, but I will address it by using differentiation, assistive technologies, individualized supports, all based on the students' IEP goals and their strengths and needs. Um, Another challenge might be communication barriers, because a lot of students with low incidence disabilities are nonverbal. So I will support this by using different and multiple communication methods, whether it's like AAC devices, visuals like handwriting, wait time, using specific modeling, and collaborating with other specialists in the school. Something I've learned about myself as a teacher through this course is that I learned the importance of inclusion and having high expectations for students with low incidence disabilities. As a SPED teacher, I will try my hardest to push my students into inclusion, to be in their least restrictive environment, and getting access to the general education curriculum. Also, I've learned the importance of being flexible, patient, and collaborative. So I will collaborate with specialists and families to understand what is best for the student. I will use this knowledge to better serve my students with low incidence disabilities by planning lessons that include assistive technologies and supports that the students need, such as step-by-step instructions, and visual supports, tactile supports, whatever they need, while still maintaining grade level expectations. And I will also prioritize using real world skills and functional skills, like communication supports and opportunities for the students to experience real world skills and applications for independence, to prepare them for life beyond school.